Hola, padres de primer grado. Soy la maestra señora Preciado y estamos aquí las maestras señora Sikorski, la señora Schwindt y la señora Rios para nuestra presentación de primer grado.
Yeah.
Hello, parents. This is Señora Preciado, and we are the first grade teachers, Señora Rios, Señora Schwinn, y Señora Sikorski, and we are here to do our presentation on what to expect for first grade.
So for reading, we use what's called ARC, American Reading Company, for our curriculum. And then ARC is a structured literacy program that includes both whole language and phonics instruction. And students in our classrooms will learn through 4 literacy units this year. So we have Unit 1, which we're doing right now. It's building community. It says building a community of readers and writers, getting them excited about reading and reading all different kinds of text with them that are a little bit easier. Then for Unit 2, we'll be focusing on informational reading and writing and focus on animals. So they're going to be studying several animals in nature and investigating their physical characteristics, their habitat, life cycle, and food chain, and kind of making their own book for that. And then Unit 3 is fiction writing and writing about families. And it's also where we study the elements of stories. So, talking about character setting, plot, message of the story. And they'll be doing stories from different cultural backgrounds, identifying and describing characters, setting, problem, solution, and the message of the story. And then Unit 4, at the end of the year, that's our informational and argumentative reading and writing. And we're going to focus on plants. So during that time, we'll have an investigation of plants and parts of plants, their habitat, life cycle, what they need for survival, how they're interdependent with each other, and adaptations. And then and the next part here, reading. So through our large group and small group learning, students will, these are things that they'll be doing in our classroom, ask and answer questions about details in the text, retell stories that they've read, retelling that story and trying to understand the message of the story. Read it with sufficient accuracy. So that means that they're not making too many errors. So that's really important as a good reader. You're not making a lot of errors because that does affect your comprehension. And that you read with good fluency to support your comprehension. They're also going to be expected to describe characters, setting, the events of the story, and using key details from the story. And that they demonstrate a command of the conventions of standard Spanish grammar when they're writing and speaking, that they can make basic sentences for us. And then when they do an informative piece, so when we do different types of writing, that they're able to give a topic sentence, facts about details about their topic sentence, and then a concluding sentence.
Okay, how can I help my child succeed in reading? Here's some ideas for you to help with that. Encourage your child to do the following. Point to each word with their finger as they read. Practice power words. Those are the high frequency words that your child will be bringing home. Those sheets are usually in different colors depending on the level of your child. You can work on sounding out the first sound in each word. It's okay if they can't read the words yet. Read a book multiple times to develop fluency. We will be sending books with them, so they should have a book bag, and you can have them work on those books to develop their fluency. Look at each picture and think about what is happening in the story. Find small words they know inside of the word. For example, in the word largo, they can see the word la. Make a personal connection to the text. So ask your child, what connections do you have with the text or with the story? Pick out 3 to 4 words from the text and write the words and draw a picture to build vocabulary. Next is tell about a favorite part of the book and why. So ask your child, what part of the book did you like the best and why? And then the last bullet point here is see our curriculum suggestions. And there's a little link here that you can find more information on how to help with the art curriculum. Spanish versus English reading. So a lot of parents sometimes ask, should I focus on English or Spanish, or can I also read with my child in English? Yes, we want you to be reading in English with your child because for some of you, that is your child's native language. But we do want them to be stronger in Spanish. So we would like for students to focus on Spanish phonics and reading until they have a strong foundation, which comes towards the end of first grade or later. Some students are strong readers, so they are reading in English, and that's okay. But we also want to encourage them to use as much Spanish as possible at home. Please avoid working specifically on English sounds and phonics. By focusing on Spanish phonics um, and sounds in reading in the early grade, it builds motivation in Spanish literacy and it leads to greater success in the program. If you have further questions, please contact your child's teacher.
How can I help my child succeed in writing? Please encourage your child to keep a writing journal at home and to use lined paper, which helps with the size of letters. Avoid using just blank paper if possible. Students can also draw pictures and label with words they know in Spanish. And they can also use books. They can pick a page from a Spanish book and write the sentence in their journal. They can practice capitalizing the beginning letter and punctuating using the book as a model. Once they are reading better, they can try to create their own sentences. They can also write what we call crazy words or palabras locas, combining two syllables that we have practiced. We start with the syllables mame, mimo, mu, and pape, pipo, pu. Your child can use those syllables to make their crazy words or palabras locas. So an example would be pimo or mapu. Those don't make any sense in Spanish, but they use the syllables they're working on. Also practice syllables on the writing sheets that we will be sending home. Moving on to math, we use a curriculum called Bridges, and Bridges blends direct instruction, structured investigation, and open exploration. And when we send the PowerPoint link out, you can click to read more about this in Spanish or English, the introduction and also Unit 1. And we use large group and small group learning for students to learn how to add and subtract with numbers to 20, including story problems. Students become fluent with addition and subtraction facts to 10. They also count to 120 and learn about place values, such as ones, tens, and hundreds. They also learn to identify, sort, and draw shapes, and also how to fit shapes together to make other shapes, how to solve puzzles, and talk about fractions. Some of the materials and models we use a lot in first grade is a number rack, dominoes, dice, 10 and 20 frame cards, a number line, calendar, grids, and graphs. How can you help your child succeed in math? Encourage your child to count 1 to 20 backward and forwards in Spanish. Practice counting objects at home. Count by 2s, 5s, and 10s orally or with objects. And show combinations of numbers between 3 and 10. So an example would be 2 plus 2 equals 4, 1 plus 3 equals 4, 3 plus 1 equals 4, 0 plus 4 equals 4, 4 plus 0 equals 4. So that would be an example of a combination. Also work on adding 2 dice quickly using different strategies. Also, you can use dominoes to sort them by the totals and write addition equations. Also, we use a number rack, as you can see a picture, and that we use to show numbers quickly or to show parts of a number. We also work on identifying nickels and pennies, and you can practice counting those at home too.
Social emotional instruction. We use a responsive classroom and second step curriculums to teach students about understanding, talking about, and manage emotion to regulate our behavior, social thinking, understanding how to interact well with their peers, using the zone of regulation to identify and regulate behavior. You can click the link and to learn how each color represents different emotions. Being a positive part of the classroom community, celebrating quality to make us unique, exercise a growth mindset, positive thinking, and believing that we can do something yet, but when we do hard things, it makes our brains grow. how to calm themselves. Please reach out if your child needs extra support socially and emotionally. With our social worker, Pam Rickers, can offer additional support through small groups and one-on-one session if there are difficult situations or events your child is experiencing. Social study curriculums. The student will be able in social study to create maps about familiar places, describe spatial information found on maps, use absolute and relative location word to identify the location of a specific place, compare physical and human characteristics of a local place, create a timeline that identifies at least 3 events from one's own life, comparing cultures around the world, compare and contrast family life from early times and today. Science, the student will be able to classify different wild animal and habitats, describe animals by their physical characteristics, put the life cycle of plants and animals in order, tell what animal need in order to survive.
iPads. So here are some resources to access on iPads at home for reading and math practice. Students will have the RAS kits to use at school and at home. They will be able to access ARC Bookshelf, Epic, Tumble Books, which is on our website for Nuevas Fronteras. Dreambox will be already on their iPad. Brain Pop, Pebble Go, Bookflix. You can access this through the Washington County Library. You will need your library card number to get in. It does have a good variety of books in Spanish that are great for first grade. Seesaw. At this time, we may assign work on Seesaw that will be done during the school day. Teachers may post ways for students to practice reading skills such as practicing power words, high frequency words, and other skills. Weekly newsletters and first grade website. As a first grade team, we plan to send out a newsletter each Monday that will include the following: curriculum updates, helpful educational links and videos, important dates. Also, check out the first grade website and kindergarten review videos, which include links for literacy and math. These links are especially helpful in practicing power words, high frequency words, and Spanish vocabulary.
Other important reminders. So daily, every day, students need their iPad once they've been passed out. Their blue take-home folder should be coming back and forth to school every day, and their book bag. They also need a healthy snack. Please make sure it's healthy, not sweets. Their water bottle, tennis shoes, because most days they have gym. Of course, a mask that fits properly, and spare ones in their backpack if possible. If not, we do have extras in the classroom. And an extra pair of clothes in case they have some sort of an accident or dirty at the recess. So if they could have an extra change of clothes, that would be great. And then if you have any transportation changes, please send a written note with your child or call the office. Please don't just assume like you can send an email and we'll see it, because sometimes we do have meetings during our preparation time and we aren't able to get to our emails. So that's the best way to be successful with that, is that you send a note or call the office. And lastly, schedule reminders, just to know every morning in all of our classes, we all have our morning meetings going on. That's a really great way for our kids to get to know each other and make connections with each other. And then recess and lunch, first grade all meets at 11:10 at recess. And then after recess, they go to lunch at 11:30, around there. And then 1:30 to 2:30, all of the first grade are in their specialist classes. And just a reminder again that they need shoes for PE every day. We look forward to having a great year with our first grade class, and we're happy to be back in our rooms like a normal year. Yay!
Yay! Thank you, parents. Gracias.
Gracias.